Hey guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about personal development. I touched on it a few weeks ago and kind of shared some of the books that I have in my nightstand that I turn to and that I use during my power hour. I'll be the first to tell you that when I began as a coach back in May of 2014, those books were not something that I was even interested in. I had heard, the three vital behaviors, and personal development was one of them, and I ignored that behavior for a very long time. I told my upline that I was reading the books, and I was not reading the books. I had no interest in it. I thought that, I could do this business, I could do this transformation with my weight, and I didn't need to do any other work. And I was super wrong. As I lost the weight, I realized that all the insecurities and all the emotional eating and all that crap was still there because I hadn't worked on the underlying issues. And with my business, I realized that I was telling myself things that weren't true. Like I was talking myself out of going for it, like really going for it because of fears that I had and doubts that I had. And so a lot of this is mental, just like your body can do more than you allow it most times. You're going to give up before your body does. It's the same thing with the business and, personal development. So this is what I want to tell you. When I have really bad days, like I had a really bad day today, and those thoughts come into my head, I'm not kidding, I pulled into my driveway, put my car in park, was about to get out of the car, and then put the car back in drive, drove all the way back to McDonald's, pulled in, drove through the parking lot, talked myself out of it, and drove all the way back home again like a freaking idiot. It was that bad today. So on days like that, when I'm feeling less than my best advice to you is to pull out a personal development book. That's where I get some of my posts from, like when I'm really trying to connect and I'm trying to dig deep and share those things that people really connect with. It usually comes from something that I've read that morning or the night before or that I've heard on a national wake up call. Those things aren't coincidence. Like these books are really powerful. So this is why they're important to your business. When you are pushing for Success Club, and we'll talk about what that is probably tomorrow, if we haven't already, we'll go further into detail about what that is. But if you're pushing for a Success Club, if there's 1 week left to fill a challenge group and you haven't had any challenge packs sold yet, your last month you did really well, this month you're really struggling, those doubts will start to consume you. Those months where things feel like they're just not clicking anymore, it's really easy to quit. It's really easy to tell yourself that, I gave it my best shot. Like, this isn't working. This is hard. People aren't following me. I'm not reaching anyone. What am I doing wrong? If you don't invest your time in personal development, those doubts will take you out of this. I'm telling you. I was diamond this time last year. I was making $1,200 to $1,300 a month, and everything with John happened, and I stopped doing my personal development, and I stopped believing in myself, and I lost my diamond, and I almost lost my emerald. I almost went back to just a regular coach, and I'm telling you, it's because I stopped reading those books. I stopped reading them and feeding my mind with good things, and I stopped believing in myself, and I almost lost the whole thing. And it would have been easy to just cancel $15.95. Don't worry about it. I'm not paying my business fee. I gave it a good run. But here I am. I went from, I believe, 21 coaches this time last year down to about 13, and most of them were inactive in November. And we're back up to, I have 23 coaches in my downline. A few of them are still inactive, but as soon as a few of you guys emerald, I will be diamond again. So those books are vitally important. I ordered all of mine off Amazon, and they're a tax write-off. So, do things like that. Find the podcast app that I was talking about and listen to all the national wake-up calls. You're going to hear personal development and empowering things from those calls as well. But again, the titles that I think are vitally important: You Are a Badass. I frequent that one very often. The Slight Edge is very important. The Compound Effect. Eat That Frog. It talks about how to structure your day to where you do your least enjoyable activity first, because usually what you don't want to do first is the thing you need to do the most. Go for No is a good one. What else? I have to think. If I'm missing any that I have right now, I'll let you know. But I strongly encourage you, especially if you're struggling, especially if you've found yourself lately saying, I'm not going to make that goal. People aren't following me. What am I doing wrong? If you're hearing that in your mind right now, I beg you, before you give up on this, before you give up on yourself and the people who are following you, because they are following you. You just don't see them. They're not ready to show you they're following you yet. Before you give up on all of that, try reading one of those books, putting the tips into practice, and see where it takes you. All right, have a good night, guys.